Hello everyone, and it truly is my pleasure to join you all here on Sống 24/7. Having spent many years teaching in the UK, I knew that I wanted to truly make a difference. And that's what inspired me to move back to Vietnam about 5 to 6 years ago in order to embark on my journey of teaching IELTS. At first, I knew I had to overcome a challenge, and that was doing the very IELTS exam myself, which, even though I am a native, is not an easy experience. And having gained a Band 9, I opened my IELTS Center, IELTS with Charles, in order to help students throughout Vietnam to get their dream score. The IELTS exam opens so many doors, whether it be to travel around the world, to get into a prestigious university, or indeed just to impress your mates or your mum. That is what gives me pleasure now, teaching students and helping them to truly achieve their dreams by teaching them at IELTS with Charles. In terms of Vietnamese students, they never cease to amaze me. They are passionate, enthusiastic, and indeed incredibly intelligent. And I'm always blown away by their dedication. If there was something that Vietnamese people struggle with, especially the younger students, I would say it's their confidence. Confidence is a big problem in Vietnam, especially when they first meet me, a native speaker very often. So I spend a lot of time putting their mind at ease and reassuring them that English is not like any other language. Most people in the world that speak English are not native speakers. Therefore, we are used to it if people don't speak 100% perfectly. So I would love to encourage all of you out there to please grasp the opportunity with both hands, to practice, find a dedicated teacher to hold your hand and indeed give you that confidence and inspiration to learn IELTS and indeed English. I think this is a great opportunity to take some time to reflect on some happy moments in terms of learning English. And we're going to start with a quick story about when I traveled to Dalat. I was in a very rural area in Dalat, and there was a group of charming and handsome and wonderful school children located by the river. Once they saw me, they instantly jumped up, pointed and shouted at me, "Look, look, 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 it's Donald Trump." I said, "Donald Trump? No, no, no." And then one said, "Oh no, it's David Beckham." I'm happy with David Beckham, but not so much Donald Trump. But from that moment, I could see the passion that even the youngest students have, that the willingness to learn English. And because they had never seen a foreigner before, they were taken a bit by surprise. And that's what it comes down to, making students feel that confidence to approach us, to practice, and to learn about us and our lives. In terms of my students, I've had students get a wide range of scores from 5 right up to 8, 8.5. And do you know what? Very often it's those students that manage to get a 5 that stick with me the most. There was one wonderful student named Moon who, when she first met me, literally could barely speak anything. She had no confidence and was very shy. However, we spent time, energy, we nurtured her, combined with her dedication and hard work. Every night she sent photos of her homework, and she was so proud. She overcame that difficulty, that initial shyness, and ultimately managed to get her Band 5. Having only targeted 4.5, she beat her own target. And she even told me that she enjoyed the speaking exam, which I know is a little bit crazy. But thanks to our hard work together and teamwork, she managed to overcome her difficulties. And now she's moving to Canada very soon. We recently went for dinner and she bought me a big bunch of flowers and told me that I truly changed her life. And those are the memories that stay with me. One other thing that's really worth reflecting on is the difference between the younger students and the older students that I teach IELTS. Now, with the younger students, as mentioned before, confidence is one of the issues. In contrast, for the older students, pronunciation is the problem. Very often the students will have difficulty in pronouncing the difficult words, especially the TH sound, thank you, or three, or happy birthday, not birthday, birthday, as well as the final S sound, sometimes, since. These final sounds in IELTS are really important because pronunciation is 25% of your mark. And therefore, the older students often struggle to get those higher bands. I think very clearly of Mr. Hui, who, when he first joined, although he had the confidence, the enthusiasm, the passion was amazing. However, it was very difficult to understand anything that he said, to be honest. However, we had to sit down with him and make sure that we really drilled these sounds into his head. But of course, the problem is that he's also very busy. He has 2 children, he has a business that he needs to run, but you need to be firm and explain to him that you must put your heart and soul into learning English in order to improve. It's not an easy process. It takes time and dedication. And thankfully, Mr. Hui overcame his difficulties, and now he is living it up in New York City. Besides teaching normal students on a daily basis, I also have a program in which I teach many teachers in Vietnam that often want to keep the fact they're restudying a little bit of a secret, but dream of getting an 8 or 8.5 or maybe even a 9 in order to teach IELTS themselves. And I'm so proud that now, as a result of our teaching, many of our teachers have managed to open centers in Đà Lạt, Hanoi, and even Da Nang as well. That is something that is truly amazing because as we're spreading this joy and love for English, for IELTS, people are going off and doing their own plans and spreading that joy throughout the country, improving the overall level of teaching quality in the whole country. Something I'm so proud of as a teacher. And of course, I can't talk about that without talking about the scholarship program that we offer at IELTS with Charles. Nothing gives me more pleasure than to support humble and wonderful, passionate students to get the IELTS score. We all know that it's a often long and expensive process that parents need to invest in their child. And therefore, if we can offer some kind of support, not just financial, but also to help them to nurture their skill, this is something I'm particularly proud of. And many of my scholarship students have got their target score and then managed to get into their dream university, whether it be UEH, UEF, or indeed RMIT. This is something that I'm also truly proud of and will continue doing, as Vietnam is the country I've fallen in love with. I feel like it's my duty to give back to society. If there's one thing I want you all to remember, a call to action if you like, if you are truly wanting to learn the English language, it's important, of course, to have the dedication, the enthusiasm. But one thing I want you to remember is that it's important that you find a suitable method. You need to find a method that you feel comfortable with and that you can stick to and fall in love with. Many students lose their motivation when they read lots of different things online and they get confused and overwhelmed. Try to find a method that is suitable for you. A good example is mine, the IELTS with Charles 8+ method, which really focuses on building a strong academic foundation, building up your vocabulary, your grammar, before you start practicing the tests. In English, we have a lovely phrase, don't run before you can walk. Please don't go straight to listening to crazy podcasts or crazy movies and lose your confidence, or get straight into doing an IELTS practice test because you will feel overwhelmed. Find a method such as mine. You can research online and build up that strong foundation first, before moving on to the strategies and then ultimately taking the practice tests. Trust me guys, this is the key for success so that you can keep your passion and not feel demotivated.